Durdle magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing some more Subira. Let's look at our opening hand. It's sparse. But the last few games I played, I've gotten like no lands. I'm gonna risk one mulligan, see where that takes us. New hand, 4 lands, a little bit of follow-up. I think we'll keep this. I don't want to have to mulligan down to 6. This seems perfectly serviceable. Alright, looks like we're going second. I can live with that. Our first opponent is Purphoros, Bronze Blooded. 4 red, indestructible. Devotion to red less than 5. He doesn't get up. Other creatures you could... That sounds really bad. Other creatures you control have haste. 2 red, you may put a red card or artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So, sneak attack, if you're unfamiliar with that card, go ahead and search that up. Mountain into play for them. Our turn, we get Castle Embereth. Let's see. Comes into play untapped if we control a mountain. And it's a little boost to our guys. So let's just go ahead, play a regular mountain, and pass it off to our opponents. Our next opponent. Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. He really is tireless, isn't he? 3/5 for a legendary artifact creature scout. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that card into the battlefield, tap, shuffle your library. Swamp and Imperial Seal into play and into the stack for the Golos player. 2 Wooburg. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So, once again, not looking forward to the tireless one. Our next opponent plays a Sand-Stepped Citadel. Anafenza the Foremost, one of my personal favorite commanders, although hard to build around, so you can just build whatever you want. White, black, green. For a legendary 4/4 human soldier, whenever it attacks, put 1/1 counter on another target tapped creature you control. If a non-token creature an opponent owns would die, or a creature card not on the battlefield would be put into an opponent's graveyard, exile that card instead. We have a treasure map coming into play for the Purphoros player. Our turn, we get the Chandra Parents. That works for me. I do like those cards. Castle Embereth into play. I kind of want to hold off until Lonnie's Summoner. I don't know if I want to risk it just yet, actually. So I think we'll just tap down, tell our opponents we're not a threat. That's really something I want to kind of cast later when I might have the Ascension. Orborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth coming into play. Yay! I have to tap for red. Alright, that was it for Golos. Off to Anafenza's turn. Plains into play. Anafenza tapping down their mana, saying they're not a threat as well. So, it should be at the very least an interesting game. Purphoros is like the opposite of us. Quick, big hits. We need more sustained damage, although big hits with Angrath and stuff like that should be good. Dwarven Ruins, huh? Interesting. Treasure map. Getting activated. Comes to our turn, we get Gingerbrute. Okay. I have been wanting to try this one out for a while, so. But I think what we'll do now is probably cast our commander. We have enough mana to summon her back if somebody, like, immediately murders her, like often happens. Let's go ahead and play Mountain. Let's go ahead and tap these all for red and not for black. Cast Subira, Tulzidi Caravaner. Go to the combat. Let's go ahead, swing into Purphoros first. Seems like they'll probably have some stuff down pretty quick. We'll just go around the table all fair-like. Swamp into play for Golos. They're passing it. I did recently play against the Mono Red Golos. If you've seen that video, go ahead and check that out. I will put a little blurb up on the screen for you. I wonder if it's Mono Black. That'd be hilarious. Good Fortune Unicorn. Okay, so it's probably a 1/1 counter deck. So that's interesting. Get a 1/1 counter on a creature when it comes in. Notably, might be good with the new Unicorn Legend coming out in Jumpstart. I really hope I get one of those. I love blinking decks. Just waiting for the day where Wizard slips up and creates the ultimate blue-red blink commander. Yeah, that might have to be my competitive deck if that ever happens. Treasure map on the activation again. So they only need 1 more counter on this and then it'll flip, turn to a land, and then get some treasure. We get Heat Shimmer. So we have 2 parts of infinite combos. Heat Shimmer, Dualcaster Mage, Kiki-Jiki, Zealous Conscripts. I don't like to win with infinite combos, but I like to have them as backups. Plus, they do work in the deck otherwise, so it's not like they're just for the infinite combo. Go ahead, play a Snow-Covered Mountain. Maybe people might freak out about it. Not sure. Let's go ahead and play that Gingerbrute. It can't be blocked unless something has haste if we pay the 1, so I think it's alright. Alright, so for attacks, even though I want to swing Subira at Anafenza, we're not going to do that. She can only give another creature unblockable. So we'll swing at Golos there and swing the Gingerbrute at the Anafenza player. Go ahead, activate that, and respond by giving it the unblockability. Alright, damage is good all around. So let's just pass it off to our opponents. Again, I want to wait on the summoner. Dimir House Guard in for the transmute. I believe this one costs 4. So they'll get something that costs 4 from their deck to their hand. They do have to reveal it. Tempt with Discovery. So that's interesting. We'll not be taking them up on that offer. Tormod's Crypt. So just a lot of hate coming out of the Anafenza player for graveyards. Anafenza the Foremost coming down. A 4/4 for 3 with relevant hate abilities is not the worst thing ever. It'll get a 1/1 counter from the Unicorn. We have an attack Unicorn into Golos. Damage is good, no responses. I didn't think they'd have one, but you never know. Off to Purphoros' turn. They should have, yep, enough mana for Purphoros, but they can also just flip the treasure and get treasures. Or the treasure map and get treasures, rather. So, they'll probably scry, do all that jazz, then still have 2 mana up for whatever they need. Although it doesn't quite curve out with Purphoros. His activation is 2 in red. Purphoros coming down for that player. Comes our turn, we get Descent of Dragons. Still something I'm trying out in the deck. I really want this to, I want to see if this works. So far nothing to use it on, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and play Scavenger Grounds. And I think, do I want to play the Chandra Parents? That's the issue I have right here. I'm thinking so, because I don't want to have to discard our entire hand by sitting on it with our Commander's ability. Hopefully I'll get to showcase that this game, but you never really know. ETB, we get some of those nice flying Thopters. That'll probably be real good and handy against Purphoros and any kind of dragons they do. Let's go to combat. Subira into the Purphoros player. Gingerbrute back into the Anafenza player. And we will go ahead and make it unblockable. This time we'll use the Gingerbrute's ability. Because why not? Alright, damage is good across the board. Let's go ahead, send it off to our opponents. Hope Anafenza doesn't hate us too much about things. You know, I know it's a cookie. It's sweet, right? Yeah, there's no hate there. Golos coming down for that player after dropping yet another swamp. So I'm wondering if it's like mostly black, followed by any other support color that it might need. Forest into play. Yeah, that seems legitimate with the attempt with Discovery. I'm really hoping like no one takes him up on that offer, the Golos player, because that can be really bad for us. They will get 3 lands if we all take it up on the offer, but if everyone else takes it up, I'm not going to be lagging behind them, so it's going to be a difficult decision, but it's never the right decision. Tuskguard Captain. Yeah, going full Outlast Lords. I like it. Not specifically to my face, but it's still pretty good. Anafenza going to us. Sad face. I was really hoping they wouldn't. Their guy's big enough to kill Golos, big enough to swing into Purphoros. Let's see. I don't know where they're sending the Unicorn. Kind of just skipped over that. Let's check that out. Alright, so the Unicorn is going into Purphoros. Should we assign a blocker? Man, I don't know. I think we could just take the 5 for now, but she's going to keep getting bigger, so we're going to have to be careful about that. Off to Purphoros' turn. I'm hoping that if they do have any like recursion or stuff that could come back, you know, like a lot of artifacts will do that. I had a Felden deck that did a lot of recursion that way. Blasphemous Act. Oh no. Alright, well, we did plan for that. That's why I didn't want to lose to Lonnie's Summoner. So, we're not in terrible shape. We can still resummon our Commander. Anafenza gone. They can also still activate Purphoros, which is not the best. Poor Chandra's parents. They didn't deserve it, man. So, Anafenza, in case you didn't notice, when everything dies, she sees everything die. So, all of the opponent stuff will get exiled. And that's another reason I didn't want to play it, because we do have Felden and we do have Underworld Breach for recursion in here. So I don't want to just throw everything on the battlefield like I usually want to. Font of Mythos. We get 2 additional cards. Okay. That coming from the Purphoros player. To be fair, it's probably going to be better for them generally, but I'll take cards. Comes to our turn, we get Torbaron, followed by a Font of Mythos trigger. Let's see what we get out of it. Purphoros activating the Treasure Cove to draw a card. Alright, we get a Mountain and a Sad Robot out of it. That's not bad. I think I'll actually play the Mountain and cast Sad Robot. Sad Robot into play. Let's go get a Mountain. Let's get probably a regular Mountain so people don't freak out on us about the snow-covered stuff, and pass it off to our opponents. Mythos trigger. They'll be getting some extra cards too. They already have, what, 1 more mana they need for Golos to come back down? Not the best for us. There's Tempt with Discovery. Let's go ahead and open the game log here. Make sure whatever the people are doing about it. I imagine Anafenza is going to do it. Yep, they accepted the Tempt. Golgari Rot Farm is the land they went to get. Purphoros also accepted. So I guess we're going to have to just to kind of stay on par at this point. That's, it's not the best. I expected Anafenza to do it. I didn't think Purphoros would, but I guessed wrong. Alright, let's search for any land. I'm thinking just like straight up Temple of the False God. It gets us 2, so maybe we'll be ahead of everybody. Alright, since we all accepted the tempting offer, they got 4 lands in total, 3 forests and a Cabal coffers. So far Golgari Golos? At least it rhymes. 15 mana floated by Golos. This will not end well. Torment of Hailfire. Who would have guessed? If you've watched my other video with, I believe it was my first with Mangara, another bump up there I'll leave for you. Ooh, Ghost Warrior response destroying the Cabal coffers. So, Torment of Hailfire really won that game, and we were the ones that ended up giving them all the lands with Winds of Abandon. So this is for 13. Alright, so we have to basically discard our entire hand and Solemn and still lose a bunch of life. But what do we want to keep instead? So let's go ahead and get rid of the Solemn Simulacrum. That way we can draw a card. So let's go ahead and start the process here. Also, I wish this would count down so I know what's happening. It's in here in the box down here. You can't see it. But I wish it kind of did on the card too, just to keep reference. Alright, Torment of Hailfire resolves. We're all still alive. We all still have a card or 2 in hand. We will get to draw another card with Sad Robot. I kept the Summoner because with our commander, we can go then and get, assuming it doesn't immediately die, Golos does have 6 cards in hand. A refill on our hand. So that'll be glorious. Font of Mythos, triggering for the Anafenza player, that'll also refill people's hands pretty quick. So, Torment of Hailfire not immediately winning the game. Golos is ahead, but they must be the Arch Enemy by now. I would have to think so. Corpse Shack Menace coming into play for the Anafenza player. Good classic card. Did it? I think it got knocked down to uncommon in the latest reprint. Selesnya Sanctuary into play for them. They'll have to bounce a land. So I'm thinking we actually have to blow the Scavenging Grounds too, just to make sure they don't get back the Torment of Hailfire. So probably on their upkeep so we can let our opponents kind of stabilize and do stuff against that player. That's what I think I want to do. Over to Purphoros' turn proper. They get extra cards off the Font of Mythos, 6 in hand. They can activate Purphoros, let's see, maximum twice. So, I mean, not the best, but they can still deal a lot of damage. Oh, there's a Rogue's Passage coming down. First Purphoros activation of the game. Let's see what it is. And the pitch. Spawn of Thraxes. It will deal 4 damage to any target. That was so good in my Feldon deck. I'm surprised I didn't see it in more lists for a really long time. 4 damage went over to the Golos player. Seems like they deserve it. I mean, they subjected us to Torment. Hazoret's Monument into play for the Purphoros player. Spawn of Thraxes right over into the Golos player. That works for me. Purphoros triggers. Spawn of Thraxes will go to the graveyard. We get Warstorm Surge. Alright, not something we can cast right now. We really need to get some damage in, get board presence going. We get Chaos Warp and Robber of the Rich. Robber of the Rich does have haste. Chaos Warp is also, a decent answer to stuff. But I really don't want them to get Torment of Hailfire back. So I think we have to activate the grounds, use the temple. Then we have 6 mana left. Well, 7 mana. Let's go ahead and play a Dwarven Mind before I make noob mistakes. We'll get a 1/1 Dwarf. Let's go ahead and activate the Scavenging Grounds. I don't want to do it to my opponents necessarily, but I also don't want them to get Torment of Hailfire back, so yep, that's what it's here for. There we go. We also suffer, but our recursion, we're red, it's not the best. Let's play Robber of the Rich. It does haste. Maybe we can exile something off the top. And then let's go ahead and actually play Tolani Summoner, because our commander does have haste, so I don't need to risk her just yet. Let's go ahead and go to combat. Robber of the Rich will go rob the rich. 2 Golos. Get all his gold doubloonies, or something. Yeah, I know Purphoros has the treasures, but you get it. We'll exile Swamp. Sad face. Damage is good. So if we do survive till the next turn, we do have Tolani's Summoner, we have the City's Blessing, and we have our commander. We can refill our hand pretty substantially. We'd have to get rid of the Warstorm Surge, but at this point, I think it's too slow to help us. Held up mana for Chaos Warp. Let's see if anything bad happens to us. Bubbling Muck. Swamps get to tap for extra. Alright, so another big spell coming out of Golos. This is probably going to be very unfun. In my opinion. Yep, it's Exsanguinate. Well, there goes the game. Good game to Golos. Big mana Golos. Black and green. I almost said red. Not much we can do about that. I suppose we can play Chaos Warp on our Dwarf and see if we get anything, but, I mean, it's red. Good game to our opponent. Let's go take a look at the deck. I don't think I changed it since the last game at all. you definitely want... I played a few games. I kept 2-land hands just to test it out. You definitely do not want to keep a 2-land hand. For the love of God, don't do it. I mean, that's, you know, kind of like a duh thing in EDH, but I figured maybe the little curve, I'll draw a 3rd land. Nope. Nope, don't flip and do it. So, anyway. So we had a Path to Recovery. I thought they had the Exsanguinate. I honestly thought that's what they were going to cast first, so my gut instinct was right on there. But, you know, mono red, we can't do anything necessarily about that. So, looking at the deck, I still like where it is right now. Descent of Dragons, I'll probably have to take that out. I really want it to work, but it probably won't. So at that rate, I probably want... I mean, for the same cost, we can get Mezizium Mortars. Gotta say that right. It's not the best removal, but it is one-sided. And that gets rid of a lot of their small stuff, especially if they ever make something that like gives Skulk that is, you know, usable. Something in the future. And Mezizium Mortars for the same cost, 1 extra red, but it's mono-colored deck. So Descent of Dragons is probably coming after Mezizium Mortars. Sword of the Perons, I mean, it's cool and stuff, but if you look at it here, it does cost 3 to equip and 3 to untap or tap the creature. It can be good. I don't know if the boost is worth it. Probably need something else in my collection to do that. I'll have to take a look. So I think the deck overall did okay. We just, you know, got tormented and exsanguinated. Thanks for tuning into Durdle Magic. If you like the content you saw here today, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, and if you could be so kind, please share the video to anyone who you think might be interested. And remember, you can follow our posts at Facebook and at Twitter at DurdleMTG. We also post the video links there, so if that's more of your forum, Durdle around with us and enjoy some magic. Until then, see you around.